Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make fabric face masks. So I'll show you how to make a kid's one as well as an adult sized one, as well as a regular one and one with a filter pocket. Now there are some things that I wanted to get out of the way before we get started. The first being that I'm not a licensed professional. I am just a sewer who has resources and time on her hands and really wants to help. And also, I know that these fabric face masks are not 100% protective against the coronavirus. These are made to be worn over the N95 masks that nurses and doctors wear to be able to elongate the life of those precious N95 masks. The ones that we're going to make with the filter pocket are so that if anyone wants to put a filter in there for extra protection, that they can do so. And of course, there are other reasons to wear or make face masks. A friend had a great idea of using one to not touch her face, and I think that's a great idea. Just remind yourself not to touch your face. And also, just a fabric face mask is better than no face mask at all. So yes, if you are someone who is interested in making some and donating them, I think that's wonderful, and I 100% would say to do it. If you are going to donate to a specific clinic or a hospital, I would say to reach out to them first and see if they have any guidelines or a specific pattern for you to use, and then definitely go by that. So now let's get started with these face masks. So for the adult's mask, you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric cut 9 by 6 and 2 pieces of elastic cut 7 inches long. For the filtered pocket mask, you're going to add 1/2 inch to the length of the mask. And then for kids, you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric 7 by 6. The pieces of elastic are going to be 6 inches long. Now, I made these patterns on a thick cardstock so that it's easy for me to reuse over and over again. Now, I heard that it was preferable for masks to be made out of 2 different types of fabric so that you know which side is the one touching your face. So this is the pattern that I'm going to use for my kids' mask, and this is the pattern for my adult mask. So here I added 1/2 inch to the length of my fabric, both pieces of fabric, and that's going to be for the filtered mask. So you're also going to need elastic. Like I said, 2 pieces of elastic per mask. I would recommend an elastic that's 1/4 of an inch or less. So you can buy this elastic or this cord elastic. The only thing with this cord elastic though is that you want to make sure that you really sew it into the mask, because it's so thin it might be a little bit harder, but also the cord elastic is a lot more comfortable. I actually just found that cord elastic in my stash. I wish I had found it earlier because I would have made all my masks with it, but unfortunately I didn't. So this is how you're going to stack your mask. You're going to do the right sides together, so kind of facing the elastic at an angle, and you're just going to pin one edge of the elastic on top, bring that down, make sure it's nice and flat if you're using a flat elastic, and then pin that to the bottom. Something else that I wanted to mention is that these masks are universal sizes. So like a one size will fit all, especially for the adults. But for the kids, if you are making this for a specific child and you're able to measure them, then you of course can tweak the pattern to whatever size that you need. So we want to leave a gap open at the bottom, and we're going to sew all the way around, making sure that when we're getting to those corners, we catch the elastic. That's going to make sure that it's sewn tightly in place, and also that the mask doesn't fall apart. So when you get to the corner, you just want to make sure that the needle is down. You want to lift up your presser foot and then just pivot the fabric and then continue sewing. So then we're just going to cut the corners out and flip this inside out. Now with my fingers, I'm going to press the raw sides that were left open from that gap. I'm going to press those in, and then also kind of just press out all of the sides of the mask. And then I'm going to iron that nice and flat with my iron. So this next part I usually do on my mat that has a grid on it, but just for you guys to see and know what I'm doing, I have a ruler here on the side. I'm going to pinch the bottom and fold the fabric over and down, and then I'm going to pin the sides. Then I'm going to pinch right on top and fold up. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm folding the fabric almost like an accordion. I found that making the masks 3 inches tall works out really well. So I try to make all my masks to end up being 3 inches tall. So then I flip the mask over just to make sure that it looks nice on the back and that I have got it as even as possible. And then I'm just going to sew this all the way around. When I get to the corners, I'm going to sew very gently. And also when I get to the sides, I'm going to sew very gently too, because we're going through lots of layers of fabric. If you want to, you can use your hand crank on your sewing machine when you're going through those sides. But other than that, when you finish sewing, you just want to iron this, and this is the finished mask. So super easy, super simple. When you fold the mask, you lose some of the pattern of your fabric, but when it's in use and the mask is open, you are able to see the rest of the pattern, which I think is really cool. So now we're going to move on to the mask with the filter. So as you can see here, I have a line where I added that 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take the edge and fold it up to that line, and then I'm going to iron that down. Once that is nice and ironed, I'm going to fold it again and again iron that down. And then I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew that in place just in a straight line. So from here, I'm going to do the same as we did in the other mask. I'm just going to sandwich the elastic from one corner down to the other bottom corner. I'm going to pin those in place, and then I'm going to sew around. Except this time, the gap that we're going to leave is going to be up at the top, right where we have that hem. And I'm going to leave this open about 4 inches so that it's easier to place a filter in there and then to take it back out. And when you're sewing the top, you want to sew under that same hem. And from here, we're just going to cut the corners and turn this inside out. And then you want to iron this nice and flat. So we repeat the process just like in the other mask. And once we get here, I'm going to again fold it like an accordion. And I'm going to sew it around, but this time, instead of sewing it all the way around, I'm going to leave that top gap open. So I'm going to do a couple of back stitches on each side of that open gap and then sew around. So in the end, this is what it looks like. We have that spot open at the top to be able to insert a filter, and these are the finished masks. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. I hope you guys learned something from it. And like I said, be sure to reach out to whoever you're going to donate the masks to and ask them what they're looking for in the mask. So if this tutorial is not fit for what you're looking for, definitely look for other tutorials or just simply follow what they ask of you. This is the difference between the kids mask and the adult mask, so you can see the difference there. And honestly, I hope you guys are doing well. I know it's a hard time. Please stay safe. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.